Native speakers don't use big words. They use small words. The same small words. Every single day. Over and over again. And today I am going to show you exactly which words those are. And exactly how to make them yours. What native speakers actually do. Here is something that most English learners never realize. When a native English speaker has a conversation with their friend over coffee, when they call their mother on the phone, when they talk to a colleague about a project, when they order food at a restaurant, when they argue, when they laugh, when they comfort someone, when they explain something complicated. They are using the same small set of words. Again and again. Recycled. Recombined. Rearranged. But fundamentally the same. Not because they don't know other words. They do. Native speakers have large passive vocabularies. Words they recognize when they read. Words they understand when they hear them. But in the moment of speaking, in the flow of real conversation, the words that actually come out are almost always from a small, consistent, deeply automatic core. Research on spoken English confirms this. Studies of real everyday conversations between native speakers show that the 500 most frequent words in spoken English account for approximately 70% of everything said in casual daily conversation. 70%. From 500 words. Which means that if you master those 500 words completely, not just recognize them but use them automatically and naturally, you will be operating at 70% of native speaker vocabulary in real conversation. And 70% is not almost fluent. 70% is genuinely communicative. Genuinely understandable. Genuinely real. The remaining 30%? Context fills it in. Your listener fills it in. Gestures fill it in. And as your mastery of the core 500 grows, the 30% gap closes naturally over time. Why native speakers sound natural? Now here is the question that most learners never ask. But should. Why does a native speaker sound natural? Most people assume the answer is accent. Or pronunciation. Or grammar. And those things matter. But they are not the primary reason. The primary reason native speakers sound natural is rhythm. English has a very specific rhythm. A pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables that gives the language its characteristic music. Its flow. Its sound. And that rhythm is created not by the big impressive vocabulary words. It is created by the small common words. The function words. The connectors. The little words that most learners ignore because they seem too simple to bother studying deeply. Words like just, really, actually, quite, though, yet, still, already, even, only, also, both, either, neither, rather, pretty, fairly, sort of, kind of, a bit, a little, somehow, somewhere, sometime, anyway, besides, therefore, otherwise, meanwhile, afterward, eventually. These small words are what give native English its natural rhythm. Its casual flow. Its easy, unforced quality. And most learners, focused on big vocabulary, have almost no command of these small words. They use them sometimes. But not automatically. Not naturally. Not in the right places at the right moments. And this is one of the biggest reasons why learners with good vocabulary still sound unnatural. Still sound like they are reading from a textbook rather than having a real conversation. Because they have ignored the small words. The rhythm words. The words that make English sound like English. The 3 levels of word importance. Now let me give you a framework for thinking about English vocabulary that will completely change how you approach learning. Every English word can be placed in one of 3 levels of importance for speaking fluency. Level 1 is what I call the foundation words. These are the words that appear in almost every sentence. The function words, the core verbs, the most common adjectives. Without these words, you cannot form sentences. They are the skeleton of English. Non-negotiable. Completely essential. And most learners know them. But very few have them at full automaticity. Level 2 is what I call the building words. These are the words that appear very frequently but not in every sentence. The words that allow you to talk about everyday topics. Work, family, time, feelings, places, plans, problems, opinions. Common enough to appear in almost any conversation. Important enough to need at full automaticity for fluency. Level 3 is what I call the specialist words. These are the words that appear in specific contexts. Medical words. Technical words. Academic words. Legal words. Words that you only need when discussing particular topics. Most learners spend enormous energy on level 3 words. Impressive, specialized, rare vocabulary. Because those words feel like real learning. They feel sophisticated. But level 3 words appear in a tiny percentage of everyday conversations. And having them while lacking full command of level 1 and level 2 words creates the strange situation that so many learners experience. Knowing rare words but struggling with simple sentences. The secret is to go deep on level 1 and 2 before touching level 3. To build such complete, automatic, effortless command of the foundation and building words that they require zero conscious effort. So that when you speak, all of your mental energy goes to the meaning. To the idea. To the communication. Not to searching for the words. Today's lesson is entirely about levels 1 and 2. The 500 words that native speakers use every single day. The words that build fluency from the inside. The power verbs, 50 words that do everything. Let me start with the most important words in the entire English language. The power verbs. These are verbs so flexible, so multipurpose, so deeply embedded in everyday English, that each one can express dozens of different meanings. And native speakers use them constantly. In every conversation. Every day. I am going to give you the 20 most important power verbs. And for each one, I want you to understand not just the basic meaning, but the range. The flexibility. The many different ways native speakers actually use these words. Get this is probably the most flexible verb in the English language. Get can mean receive, obtain, become, understand, arrive, fetch, buy, cause, and many more things. I get it. I understand. Did you get my message? Did you receive it? Get me some water. Fetch me some water. I'm getting tired. I'm becoming tired. Get to work. Arrive at work. I'll get it done. I'll complete it. One word. 6 completely different meanings. All natural. All everyday. All essential. Make. Make can mean create, cause, force, earn, and prepare. She made a cake. She created it. That makes me happy. That causes happiness. I make $20 an hour. I earn it. Make yourself comfortable. Cause yourself to be comfortable. He made me do it. He forced me. Take. Take means to carry, accept, require, or experience. Take this to the office. Carry it. Take a break. Have a rest. It takes time. It requires time. Take a photo. Capture an image. I took his advice. I accepted it. Go. Go means to move, become, or function. I go to work every day. I travel. Things went wrong. Things became wrong. How's it going? How is it functioning or progressing? Go for it. Try it. Attempt it. The food went bad. It became bad. Come. Come means to move toward, become, or originate. Come here. Move toward me. It comes naturally. It happens without effort. Where do you come from? Where did you originate? Come on. Hurry. Or I don't believe you. It comes in different colors. It is available in colors. Keep. Keep means to maintain, continue, or retain. Keep going. Continue. Keep it clean. Maintain cleanliness. I'll keep that in mind. I'll remember it. Keep trying. Don't stop trying. Keep the change. Retain the extra money. Put. Put means to place, express, or cause a state. Put it on the table. Place it there. How can I put this? How can I express this? Put yourself in my position. Imagine being me. Put it off. Delay it. Put it together. Assemble it. Give. Give means to provide, cause, or produce. Give me a call. Phone me. Give it a try. Attempt it. It gives me hope. It produces hope in me. Give up. Stop trying. Give it some thought. Think about it. Look. Look means to direct eyes, appear, or search. Look at this. Direct your eyes here. You look tired. You appear tired. Look for it. Search for it. Look after yourself. Take care of yourself. It looks good. It appears good. Feel. Feel means to experience physically or emotionally. I feel great. I experience greatness physically or emotionally. It feels wrong. It seems wrong. I feel like eating. I want to eat. Feel free to ask. You are welcome to ask. How do you feel about it? What is your emotional response? Now these are just 10 of the 50 power verbs. The others include say, tell, know, think, see, want, need, use, find, try, let, seem, leave, mean, turn, become, show, happen, hear, run, move, live, believe, hold, bring, write, sit, stand, lose, pay, meet, include, continue, learn, change, understand, stop, speak, read, grow, open, fall, reach, stay, return, agree, support, break, choose. Every single one of these verbs is a world of meaning in one small word. And every single one deserves to be mastered completely. Not just recognized. Mastered. The essential function words, 75 words that hold everything together. Now let me talk about the words that most learners completely underestimate. The function words. The small, invisible, utterly essential words that hold English sentences together. Without these words, English falls apart. With them fully automatic, English flows. The articles, the, a, and. These three words are used thousands of times per day by every English speaker. And yet many learners still hesitate with them. Still get them wrong under pressure. Still pause before them in conversation. Mastering articles completely means they come without any thought whatsoever. The prepositions in, on, at, to, for, with, by, from, of, about, through, between, during, before, after, under, over, above, below, around, against, along, across, behind, beside, inside, outside, toward, until, since, within, without, beyond, despite, except. Prepositions are notoriously difficult for English learners because they don't follow perfectly logical rules. You say on the bus but in the car. You say at night but in the morning. You say interested in but good at. The only way to master prepositions is not to memorize rules. It is to absorb them through massive exposure to real English. To hear and read them in context so many times that the right preposition comes automatically. Without thinking. Without choosing. The conjunctions and connectors. And, but, or, so, because, although, however, therefore, while, when, if, unless, until, since, after, before, as, though, whereas, whether, either, neither, both, not only, also, even, just, still, yet, already, finally, suddenly, eventually, meanwhile, afterward, otherwise, instead, rather, quite, pretty, fairly, sort of, kind of, a bit, somehow, anyway, besides. These words do something extraordinary in conversation. They connect ideas. They show relationships. They create logical flow. And they are what makes the difference between a list of facts and a real, natural, flowing explanation. Compare these two ways of saying the same thing. Without connectors, I was tired. I went to work. I had a meeting. The meeting was long. I felt worse after. With connectors, even though I was tired, I went to work. I had a really long meeting and by the end of it I actually felt even worse than when I arrived. Same information. Completely different quality of English. The difference is entirely in the function words and connectors. Master these and your English immediately sounds more natural. More connected. More real. The core question words and phrases. Native speakers ask questions constantly. In every conversation. And the ability to ask natural, fluid questions in English is one of the most underrated speaking skills. The core question words, who, what, where, when, why, how, which, whose, whom. But beyond these basics, native speakers use question phrases constantly. Phrases like, what do you think about? How do you feel about? Have you ever? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? What happened? How did it go? What's going on? What's the matter? Are you okay? What do you mean? How come? What if? How about? What about? Why not? Who knows? What else? How long? How often? These question phrases are conversation starters, conversation continuers, and conversation connectors. And having them automatic means you can keep any conversation going. You never run out of things to say. Because you always have another question ready. The everyday topic words, 150 essential nouns. Now let me give you the building words. The level 2 vocabulary. The words that allow you to talk about the everyday topics of human life. I am going to organize these by topic. Because organizing vocabulary by topic is far more effective than organizing it alphabetically or by frequency. Because your brain stores language in networks. In connected clusters. And when you learn words in connected groups, they reinforce each other and become more accessible. People and relationships. Person, people, man, woman, child, baby, family, parent, mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, partner, friend, colleague, neighbor, stranger, boss, team, group, member, leader, customer, guest, student, teacher. These words appear in almost every conversation about personal life. And having them automatic means you can talk about the people in your life naturally and immediately. Time and schedule. Time, day, week, month, year, morning, afternoon, evening, night, today, yesterday, tomorrow, hour, minute, moment, second, now, then, soon, late, early, past, present, future, start, end, middle, next, last, first, before, after, during, while, since, until, always, never, sometimes, often, usually, already, still, yet, just, recently, finally, suddenly, eventually, immediately. Time words are essential because almost every conversation involves time. When did something happen? How long it took? When it will happen next. Having these automatic means your time expressions flow naturally. Places and directions. Place, home, house, room, building, office, school, hospital, shop, store, market, restaurant, park, road, street, city, town, village, country, world, area, side, top, bottom, front, back, inside, outside, left, right, center, corner, floor, door, window, wall, north, south, east, west, here, there, nearby, far, close, next to, across from, behind, in front of, between, around, through, along. The ability to describe where things are and how to get there is fundamental to everyday communication. And these words make that possible. Work in daily life. Work, job, business, office, meeting, project, plan, task, problem, solution, idea, decision, result, report, email, phone, computer, money, pay, cost, price, bill, bank, card, service, product, company, client, manager, staff, training, experience, skill, goal, success, failure, progress, deadline. If any of your listeners work in an environment where English is used, these words are not optional. They are essential. And having them automatic means professional English conversations flow as naturally as personal ones. Health and feelings. Health, body, head, eye, ear, nose, mouth, hand, arm, leg, heart, back, pain, tired, sick, better, well, strong, weak, rest, sleep, exercise, food, water, medicine, doctor, hospital, feeling, emotion, happy, sad, angry, excited, worried, afraid, nervous, confident, proud, embarrassed, surprised, confused, comfortable, uncomfortable, stressed, relaxed, satisfied, disappointed, grateful, lonely, bored, interested, motivated. The ability to talk about how you feel, physically and emotionally, is fundamental to real human connection in any language. And these words make that possible in English. Communication and opinion. Say, tell, ask, answer, explain, describe, discuss, agree, disagree, think, believe, feel, know, understand, mean, point, idea, opinion, view, fact, truth, question, reason, example, story, news, information, message, advice, suggestion, comment, response, feedback, conversation, talk, discussion, argument, debate. These words allow you to not just exchange information but to actually discuss, debate, share opinions, and engage in the kind of substantive conversation that builds real connections. The describing words, 100 essential adjectives and adverbs. Describing words bring your language to life. They add color, emotion, precision, and personality to what you say. And the key insight about describing words for the 500-word learner is this. You do not need many describing words. You need flexible ones. Words that can be used across many different contexts and topics. The essential adjectives. Size and amount, big, small, large, little, long, short, tall, high, low, wide, narrow, deep, thick, thin, full, empty, enough, more, less, many, few, much, little, both, all, some, any, every, each, several, various. Quality. Good, bad, great, terrible, wonderful, awful, excellent, poor, perfect, wrong, right, correct, true, false, real, fake, important, serious, simple, complex, clear, confused, easy, difficult, hard, possible, impossible, necessary, useful, useless. Feeling and character. Happy, sad, angry, calm, excited, bored, tired, afraid, brave, kind, mean, honest, serious, funny, strange, interesting, boring, beautiful, ugly, clean, dirty, safe, dangerous, new, old, young, modern, ancient, familiar, different, similar, same, special, normal, common, rare, popular, private, public, free, busy, ready, sure, careful, careless. The essential adverbs. Degree, very, quite, really, so, to, enough, almost, nearly, completely, totally, absolutely, exactly, certainly, definitely, probably, possibly, maybe, perhaps, just, only, even, still, already, yet, also, to, either, neither. Manner. Well, badly, quickly, slowly, carefully, easily, clearly, naturally, simply, seriously, honestly, directly, quietly, loudly, suddenly, gradually, immediately, finally, eventually, basically, actually, generally, usually, normally, especially, particularly, mainly, mostly, partly, recently, soon, later, early, late. These adverbs do something critical for natural English. They add nuance. They qualify statements. They make English sound real rather than textbook. Because real people don't just say things are good or bad. They say things are quite good, or really quite difficult, or actually not that bad, or honestly a little overwhelming. That nuance is what separates conversational English from robotic English. And it comes almost entirely from these simple but flexible adverbs. The 100 social phrases that make you sound native. Now I want to give you what I believe is the single most valuable category in today's entire lesson. The social phrases. The ready-made expressions that native speakers use to manage conversations. To keep them flowing. To respond naturally. To buy time. To agree and disagree. To react and engage. These phrases are what most learners are completely missing. And their absence is what makes even learners with good vocabulary sound unnatural in conversation. Because real conversations are not just content. They are managed. They are navigated. And the tools for navigating them are these social phrases. Let me give you the most essential ones organized by function. Starting a topic or explanation, the thing is, here's what happened. So basically, what I mean is, let me explain. The point is, here's the thing. What happened was, to be honest, actually, agreeing, exactly, absolutely, that's right, I totally agree, you're right about that, that makes sense. I know what you mean. Tell me about it. No doubt. Couldn't agree more. Disagreeing politely, I'm not so sure about that. I see your point, but actually, I think. That's true, but I understand what you're saying, however. I'm not sure I agree. Have you considered? Well, it depends. From my experience. Maybe, but. Showing interest and reacting, really? No way. That's interesting. I had no idea. Oh wow. Are you serious? That's amazing. That makes sense. I can imagine. How did that happen? Buying time, that's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. How can I put this? Well. You know. It's kind of like. It's hard to explain, but. I'm not sure exactly, but. Give me a moment. Checking understanding, do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Are you following me? Does that sound right? Does that answer your question? Am I making sense? You know what I'm saying? Get what I mean? Managing difficulty, sorry, could you say that again? I didn't quite catch that. Could you speak a little slower? What do you mean by? I'm not sure of the exact word, but. Something like. How do you say? What's the word for? Ending in transitioning, anyway. So. Moving on. By the way. Speaking of which. Oh, I almost forgot. Before I forget. One more thing. That reminds me. Back to what I was saying. These 100 social phrases are worth more to your conversational fluency than 1,000 vocabulary words. Because they are the phrases that keep you in the conversation. That make you sound engaged and natural. That allow you to navigate difficulties without going silent. Master these and everything changes about how you sound in English. The problem with knowing and not using. Now let me address something important. Because at this point in the lesson, some of you are thinking, I already know most of these words. I recognize all of them. So why is my speaking still not fluent? And this is the most important question in the entire lesson. The answer is the difference between knowing and owning. Knowing a word means you can recognize it. You can understand it when you see or hear it. It exists somewhere in your passive vocabulary. Owning a word means something completely different. It means the word is available to you instantly. In real time. Under the pressure of a real conversation. Without searching. Without translating. Without thinking about it at all. Owning means the word comes automatically. The way your own name comes automatically when someone asks you. The way yes and no come automatically in your native language. Without effort. Without delay. Just there. And the only way to move a word from knowing to owning is through active, repeated, pressured use. Not recognition. Use. Speaking. Producing the word in real sentences. Again and again until the retrieval is completely automatic. The 4 ownership techniques. I want to give you 4 specific techniques for taking these 500 words from knowing to owning. From passive recognition to active automatic production. Each technique attacks the problem from a different angle. And using all 4 together creates a complete ownership system. Technique 1, the rapid fire drill. This is the most direct technique. And it builds automaticity faster than anything else. Choose one word. Set a timer for 90 seconds. And speak as many different sentences using that word as you possibly can. As fast as you can while still being clear. Don't think. Don't plan. Just speak. Let the sentences come. Even if they are simple. Even if they are similar. Even if they feel repetitive. The goal is speed of retrieval. Training your brain to access that word instantly and produce it in a sentence without any delay. Do this with 5 words every morning. And after 1 week, those 5 words will be noticeably more automatic. After 1 month, those 35 words will feel completely owned. Technique 2, the context collection. For each of your 500 words, collect real examples of how native speakers use that word in real sentences. Not dictionary definitions. Real sentences from real English content. Podcasts. Films. YouTube videos. Articles. Anything.
When you hear or read a word used in an interesting or useful way, save the whole sentence.
Write it down. Say it out loud 3 times. Feel it. Notice how the word is used. What comes before it? What comes after it?
What situation it appears in. Your goal is to have at least 5 real contextual sentences for each of your 500 words.
And to be able to say each of those sentences naturally and automatically.
This technique builds not just automaticity but range. The ability to use each word in multiple ways.
In multiple contexts. Like a native speaker.
Technique 3, the shadowing sentence method. Find English audio where the speaker uses many of the words from your 500 list.
A podcast. A conversation. A YouTube lesson. Listen to one sentence at a time. And shadow it. Repeat it immediately after the speaker.
Matching not just the words but the rhythm, the stress, the intonation, the speed. Pay special attention to the small words.
The function words. The connectors.
The social phrases. These are the words that most learners rush past when they shadow. But these are exactly the words that need the most attention. When you hear a native speaker say "actually, I'm not so sure about that, to be honest," shadow that entire phrase.
Feel the rhythm of it.
The natural stress.
The casual flow. Let your mouth learn what natural English feels like from the inside. Do 15 minutes of this shadowing technique every day.
And within weeks your English will start to have the rhythm and flow of natural speech. Technique 4, the conversation simulation. This technique is the closest thing to real conversation practice that you can do alone.
You imagine a conversation.
A specific situation.
A coffee with a friend. A work meeting. A phone call. A first meeting with someone new.
And you play both sides of the conversation.
Out loud. In English. Using your 500 words.
The rules of the conversation simulation are simple.
No preparation.
You start speaking immediately without planning what you will say. You let the conversation develop naturally. And you challenge yourself to use your 500 words.
To express complex ideas with simple vocabulary.
When you get stuck, you use your social phrases to manage.
Let me think about that. How can I put this? The thing is. And you keep going. Do one 10-minute conversation simulation every evening. Different situation each time.
And watch how quickly your 500 words become automatic in the pressure of even simulated conversation. The depth before width rule.
I want to give you one final principle before we move to the last section. A principle that I want you to carry with you from today forward. The rule is this.
Never add a new word to your active vocabulary until you fully own the words you already have. This is called the depth before width rule.
And it is the opposite of how most learners approach vocabulary. Most learners are always adding. New word. New word. New word. Always expanding outward. Always growing wider. But they are never going deeper.
Never building true automaticity with the words they already know. And so their vocabulary grows wider but never more powerful. The depth before width rule says, go deep first.
Own the 500 completely.
Make every one of them automatic, flexible, natural.
And then, only then, add new words. But add them slowly.
And take each new word all the way to ownership before adding the next one. This approach builds a vocabulary that is genuinely useful.
Genuinely powerful. Genuinely available in the moment of real conversation.
Your complete 30-day plan. Now let me give you a complete 30-day plan for taking your 500 words to full ownership.
Specific. Practical. Starting today. This plan is built on one simple principle. Consistency over intensity. 25 focused minutes every day will do more for your ownership of these words than 3 hours once a week. Every day. Without exception. 25 minutes. Days 1 to 7, the foundation week. Week 1 is entirely about the 50 power verbs and the 75 function words. Every morning, 10 minutes. Do the rapid fire drill with 5 power verbs. 90 seconds per verb. As many sentences as possible. As fast as possible. Then spend 5 minutes reviewing your function words. Say them in sentences. Pay attention to prepositions, conjunctions, connectors. Every evening, 10 minutes. Do the conversation simulation. Use only your power verbs and function words. Keep it simple. Keep it moving. Keep it real. By the end of week 1, your power verbs and function words should feel noticeably more accessible. More automatic. More ready. Days 8 to 14, the building week. Week 2 adds the 150 essential nouns and the 100 adjectives and adverbs. Every morning, 10 minutes. Rapid fire drill on 5 words from the nouns and describing words. And 5 minutes of context collection. Find one real sentence for 5 words from your list. Every evening, 10 minutes. Conversation simulation using all the words you have covered so far. Power verbs, function words, nouns, describing words. Try to have a natural, flowing conversation using simple words to express real ideas. By the end of week 2, you should be able to describe people, places, feelings, and situations with natural, flowing English. Not perfectly. But really. Days 15 to 21, the social phrase week. Week 3 is entirely dedicated to the 100 social phrases. Because these phrases require a different kind of practice from individual words. Every morning, 10 minutes. Choose 10 social phrases. Say each one 5 times. Then use each one in a natural context. A response to an imagined question. A reaction to an imagined situation. That's a really good question. Let me think about that for a second. I think the answer is. Actually, I'm not so sure about that. From my experience, it tends to work differently. No way. Are you serious? How did that happen? Feel them. Let them become part of how you naturally speak. Every evening, 10 minutes. Do a conversation simulation where you consciously use at least 5 social phrases. Count them. Make sure they appear. Make sure they feel natural. By the end of week 3, social phrases should start appearing automatically in your practice. Without choosing them deliberately. Just coming. As they do for native speakers. Days 22 to 30, the integration week. Week 4 is about bringing everything together. Integration. Every morning, 10 minutes. No drilling. Just speaking. Freely. About anything. Using everything you have practiced. Power verbs, function words, nouns, describing words, social phrases. All together. In natural, flowing English. Every evening, 15 minutes. Your most ambitious conversation simulation yet. A longer, more complex, more natural conversation. About a real topic. A real situation. Real ideas expressed in real English using your 500 owned words. And on day 30, do something specific. Record yourself speaking for 3 minutes. About anything. Then compare it to a recording you made on day 1. The difference will be real. Audible. Undeniable. Not perfect English. Owned English. And owned English is the only English that speaks. What happens after 30 days? After 30 days of this plan, your 500 words will not be fully automatic. I want to be honest with you about that. 30 days is not enough for complete automaticity. But something very real will have happened. The words will be significantly more accessible than before. The retrieval will be significantly faster. The pauses will be significantly shorter. The silences will be significantly less frequent. And more importantly, you will have built a habit. A daily practice. A consistent relationship with your 500 words that, if you continue, will lead to complete ownership within 3 to 4 months. The 30-day challenge is not the destination. It is the beginning of a real journey. The beginning of a different relationship with English vocabulary. One built on depth, not width. On ownership, not recognition. On fluency, not impressive-sounding words. Here is what I want you to take from today. Native speakers do not sound natural because they know more words than you. They sound natural because they own their words more deeply than you. The gap between you and a fluent English speaker is not a vocabulary gap. It is an ownership gap. A depth gap. An automaticity gap. And that gap is closable. Not by learning more words. By going deeper into the words you already have. 500 words. Owned completely. Automatic, flexible, natural. Available in any conversation. In any situation. Under any pressure. That is the foundation of real English fluency. And it is available to you. Right now. With the words you already know. Stop collecting words. Start owning them. The 500 are waiting. Subscribe to English Tom for more lessons that tell you the truth about English. Not what sounds impressive. What actually works. Comment below and tell me. Which of the 4 ownership techniques are you going to start with today? The rapid fire drill? The context collection? The shadowing sentence method? Or the conversation simulation? Tell me in the comments. Because your commitment, written down in public, is the first step toward making it real. I'm Tommy. And I will see you in the next lesson. Own your words. And your words will speak for you.